rock and roll from the Tower of Power, cruising 98.3 WSVZ.
WTIM. Good morning, Central Illinois, and welcome to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show today is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kamai. Hey, if you're a fan of ice cream, listen to this. July is National Ice Cream Month, so it's a good time. If you've got your family or friends or whomever, you can slow down. You can enjoy the sweet summertime traditions, including ice cream. And we're going to learn more about ice cream and National Ice Cream Month from our first guest this morning, Meagan Modrusic, a nutrition educator with the St. Louis District Dairy Council. Meagan, thanks for coming on this morning.
Of course.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you as always. So let's start with National Ice Cream Month. Just talk a little bit about what it is and how it began.
Yeah, so National Ice Cream Month, it is just a month to celebrate one of America's favorite desserts and recognize the dairy industry. And it was officially declared National Ice Cream Month in 1984. That was by President Ronald Reagan at the time. And so July was chosen because, ice cream is especially popular during the summer. Families are spending more time outdoors, and, the celebration continues today with ice cream socials and family gatherings and homemade frozen treats, all across the country. And actually, there's also an ice cream day. So National Ice Cream Day is Sunday, July 19th this year. It is celebrated every year on the third Sunday of July.
All right, and this time it's also the same day as the FIFA Men's World Cup final, so it works out really well indeed. That the timing worked out that this year. So, talk a little bit about how ice cream began in America and became really popular in the last century or whenever it was that it happened.
Yeah, absolutely. So, ice cream has been around for so long in times that are ending in BC, right? But ice cream in America really started at, the United States' roots. So even during the nation's earliest days, our founding fathers were extremely fond of it. There are lots of historical records that show that at many of the social gatherings and, meetings at George Washington's house, that there was ice cream served at the end of all of those meetings or all those gatherings. George Washington loved ice cream so much. There is receipts that report that he spent nearly $200 on ice cream during a single summer, and that's about $5,000 today. So George Washington was very interested in ice cream, and the rest of our founding fathers were also interested in ice cream. It was very similar to what it is today. And but ice cream has made its way throughout American history in lots of different ways. It found its way into wartime. During World War I, a German officer had reportedly said, we do not fear that nation of ice cream eaters. And obviously, instead of that being an insult, the United States took that upon themselves to make ice cream a point of national pride. And as a result, ice cream was deemed an essential food during the time of, war rations. And so it was exempt from the sugar rationings. You could eat ice cream during World War I and buy ice cream during World War I. So ice cream really has been a staple in World War II even. Ice cream was such a symbol of, comfort and hope and familiarity for these soldiers. And the military went to great lengths to ensure that it was available overseas and on the front lines. In the Navy specifically, the USS Bunker Hill had reportedly consumed around 700,000 sundaes, which is about 265 cups of ice cream per sailor, which is an insane amount. They were just, ice cream was part of the culture and it reminded them of home. And it was a nice time to, be comforted.
Okay,
and then the USS.
Sorry, go on.
No, you're good. Isn't that insane?
No, it is. It's like what's 265. So that's okay. Almost or one on most days. So that's a lot.
Right. I know. While they're fighting a war, they have to make time for ice cream. That's a good way to
put it. Go on.
Right. And then the USS Lexington, which was struck by a torpedo, it has been said that sailors were raiding the ship's freezers as the torpedo, after it hit, they were raiding the freezers and scooping ice cream into their helmets so they could enjoy, one last scoop before they abandoned their ship.
Well, hey, they got their priorities.
I know. Ice cream is very important. But even beyond wartime, America has played a pivotal role of making ice cream into a mass market food. The hand crank machines were patented by a woman in Philadelphia. And so that brought ice cream into the homes. And then even things like, during Prohibition, our breweries such as Anheuser-Busch and Yingling, they turned to ice cream production to keep their doors open. So, ice cream has made its way throughout American history, and it continues to make its way across American history.
No, that is super cool with everything you mentioned, just from how it started, how it kind of flourished in America, then the stories you mentioned about the sailors, and then even Prohibition. I actually did not know about that, and I mean I've learned plenty about Prohibition, kind of what the time was like, at least in terms of what it was that was prohibited. So
Yeah.
so that is really interesting. So
I know.
yeah, going back into kind of ice cream now, like what it is nowadays and how people consume it. I'm sure most of our listeners, I know I am as well, are kind of craving ice cream, but maybe we want to keep the sugar down a little bit. Talk about how ice cream can kind of fit into a balanced diet, and how we can kind of be mindful of sugar.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that mindful is such a good word, because everything can fit into, a balanced diet. It is that word balance that is so important, everything in moderation, right? But ice cream and dairy-based products, they provide important nutrients, calcium, vitamin D, and protein. These are all things that are found in ice cream. So when you're choosing, one thing over another, ice cream has benefits for your body, right? It's got things that are going to help your mind and your body and soul, right? And so families can boost nutrition by adding fruit or peanut butter or yogurt into their shakes whenever they make them. There's a lot of ways that you can, if you're worried about your portions, right, making sure that you're eating the correct portion. I think that a normal portion size is about a half cup for most ice cream, so that's about one scoop, right? So, something to keep in mind when you're enjoying your ice cream if you're worried about the health benefits of it all.
Okay, so that's good to think about as well, with the amounts and all of that. I know you mentioned adding in a couple things. I wouldn't imagine, but correct me if I'm wrong, I wouldn't imagine it would necessarily take away some of the sugar. Although, I mean, I suppose it could supply like a larger portion of the portion. Is that kind of the thinking there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And so you're adding volume to your dessert. So if you're adding things like fresh fruit, or if you're making a milkshake and you use half ice cream, half Greek yogurt, you're adding volume without necessarily adding more of that fat and sugar that, you're worried about. But yeah, you're adding fiber. It's going to help your digestive system if you're adding that fruit and fiber. Peanut butter, you can add some more protein to it. So you can definitely, add things to boost the nutrition of ice cream.
All right. And then, just in terms of like any other ways families, could, or any other, methods families could turn to make ice cream healthier, anything else you want to add about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I'm thinking about fruit that you can add it on top, right? You can add bananas or strawberries or peaches, but also when you're blending it, like I said, if you want to add, Greek yogurt to beef up the protein and beef up the nutrients in your shakes, you wouldn't notice a difference if you added some Greek yogurt to your milkshake. That's for sure.
Okay, yeah, no, that's another little tip right there when it comes to ice cream and finding some nutrition in it and enjoying it during the summer months when it's really hot. I know we certainly could have used it in the last week or two with how things have been here. I don't know what it was been like where you are, but yeah, we've had good week or 2 weeks where it was really hot here in Taylorville and in central Illinois, and really across the Midwest more broadly. We're going to go to a break in about a minute or so, but Megan, I have to ask, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
My favorite ice cream flavor is Spumoni, 3-in-1.
Wait, say that again? I don't think I've heard that before.
Spumoni. It's pistachio, cherry, and vanilla. Spumoni.
Spumoni. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I can't say I've heard of that one before, so it kind of caught me off guard. But no, I like it. Sounds delicious for those who like it and are able to eat that. So yeah, just interested to ask there. Meagan Modrusic, nutrition educator with the St. Louis District Dairy Council, joins us this morning on the first part here on the WTIM Morning Show. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about ice cream. We'll hopefully get into the recipe of the month as well, because I'd love to talk about that. I don't think we got to it last month, so we'll talk about it this time around. That'll be coming up right here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Your locally owned Scooters Coffee at routes 29 and 104 in Taylorville are proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the WTIM Tornado Give Back promotion. Scooters Coffee will donate the following to the Taylorville Sports Boosters. For each Tornado varsity football touchdown, they're donating $10. For each 3-point shot in varsity Tornado boys and girls basketball games, they're donating $3. And $5 for each home run scored by varsity baseball and softball team. The 22 local Scooters Coffee Taylorville, thank you for your business. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast.
I'm Will Perkins, President and CEO of Taylorville Community Credit Union. TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Hart Media Group Community Spotlight, allowing a different nonprofit organization to be highlighted on WTIM, WMKR, and WRAN each month.
The Lincoln Prairie Trail Conservancy is a 501c3 nonprofit. We advocate, enhance, and promote the Lincoln Prairie Trail for the benefit of the community and out-of-town visitors. The trail is a 14.6-mile paved trail from Payne to Taylorville. Volunteers are involved in projects to enhance the trail, such as benches, water fountains, rain shelters, and restroom facilities, plus more. Check us out on Facebook and the web for pictures and more information on what's next for the Lincoln Prairie Trail.
TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Hart Media Group Community Spotlight. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
Finding a local job in Central Illinois has never been easier. Don't waste time driving far or spending too much on gas. Visit IllinoisJobPost.com. It's your one-stop site to find local, full-time, and part-time job openings. Best of all, it's completely free for job seekers to access anytime, day or night. So if you're ready to land a job close to home, make IllinoisJobPost.com your first stop. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. Brought to you by your friends at the regional radio stations.
Here are the contest rules for our stations. We allow one person per household to win any prize from the radio stations in a 30-day period. Unless otherwise stated, all prizes to Christian County winners are to be picked up within 2 weeks at the studios at 918 East Park in Taylorville. Our office hours are 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays. Winners outside of Christian County will have their prize mailed. Any cash prize is mailed within 30 days of winning. Only if cash winners call our business line within 2 weeks of their name being drawn to provide their mailing address. Employees and their families of regional radio are not eligible to participate or win any contest.
Hi, this is Blaine Smith, Executive Director of Heartland CASA. Every child deserves someone who shows up. To learn more about becoming a CASA volunteer advocate and how you can make a difference for children in our community, click on our ad at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Here's Dr. Pavi Gill from Springfield Clinic, Taylorville.
Lifestyle medicine is about motivating you to improve your quality of life by changing habits and behaviors.
Find out more by clicking Dr. Gill's icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station. WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I've been talking with Meagan Modrusic, a nutrition educator with the St. Louis District Dairy Council, and we've been talking about ice cream during this part of the show because July is National Ice Cream Month, and July 19th, a couple Sundays from now, is not only the final of the Men's FIFA World Cup, it is also a National Ice Cream Day. So that's why we've been focusing on that little treat this entire show so far. And I want to get into the Dairy Council's recipe of the month, classic chocolate malt. Malt is already making my mouth water a little bit. Make it water a little more by telling our listeners about the recipe.
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to focus on kind of a nostalgic take on Ice Cream Month, right? Because chocolate malts have been around for a long time. I think that many people, grew up ordering chocolate malts at diners or soda fountains, and they really are just nostalgic. And so this is a rich and creamy chocolate malt, and it uses 2 cups of vanilla ice cream. You make this in a blender. 2 cups of vanilla ice cream, 3/4 cup of milk, 2 tablespoons of chocolate syrup, 2 tablespoons of malted milk powder, and then you can top it with whipped cream. So you just blend it all up and you have yourself a chocolate malt. And so if you don't know what malt powder is, it is an ingredient that's made from a combination of malted barley and wheat flour and milk, and then it's dried into a fine powder. And so you can really buy that nowadays really anywhere. it should be like in the baking section of things. And if you can't find it, you can always get it on Amazon, right? But it really just adds like a rich and nutty flavor to your ice cream. And the older I get, the more I enjoy chocolate malts over chocolate shakes. How do you feel?
It's I mean, I don't remember the last time I had a chocolate shake. I also don't remember the last time I don't know if I've ever had any kind of malt or anything like that. In terms of one question about the malted milk powder, about how large compared to, let's say, one of those tubs of baking powder, those cylindrical tubs of baking powder, compared to that, how large is like your malted milk powder container?
I have seen them in different containers. I've seen them, how those Coffee Mate, those dry creamers come.
I don't drink coffee.
Okay. Well, they come in like little, I guess in the same size as that.
Okay.
Like as a baking powder or a baking soda.
Okay.
Kind of that same size.
All right.
But I've seen them in all different.
Okay. All right. So a lot of ways to look for the malted milk powder. So yeah, it seems like a simple recipe. I think a lot of the other ingredients seem pretty familiar, and then you put them into the blender, and then you get that out. Going back out, so I guess focusing a little less on the food and or on the treat, and more on what it kind of means in our culture. Talk about how ice cream, or the classic chocolate malt, I suppose, can create some memories for families and anyone who just wants to enjoy the summer.
Yeah, absolutely. Frozen desserts in the summer are a big hit always. And then when you're eating ice cream and you're eating, you're drinking shakes or these malts, I feel like, there are a lot of memorable moments that come with that, right? So you're on vacation, or you're at a cookout in your backyard, or a fair, or a baseball game, right? They can become a part of your tradition, and they become a part of happy memories. I don't necessarily know if there's a lot of sad ice cream memories, right? And so I think that there's a lot of fun that can come from, ice cream, and a lot of good memories and good traditions that you can make. I know in my family, we have a tradition during our family reunions, we will make pineapple ice cream in a homemade cranker. So we've got like a wooden cranker that you put the ice around it, and you put the cream and the sugar, all that inside of the tank, and then you crank it. And it takes, it feels like it takes hours. I'm not quite sure if it does, but we'll all, go around, pass the bucket and give it, a crank for 2 minutes, and then pass it and give it a crank for 2 minutes. And homemade ice cream, if you haven't had it, it's so delicious. It is, I mean, it's the best way that you can eat ice cream, I think.
Yeah, well, I'd love to try it as well. And going off kind of how to make ice cream, kind of like, what's the process for that? What should folks, look for at the store? How does that just kind of work overall with about 2 minutes to go?
Yeah, absolutely. If you ever find yourself on our website, stldairycouncil.org, we actually have a resource of how to make your own ice cream at home. And so that is, it happens in some plastic bags. And so it's like 2 cups of whole milk, a half cup of granulated sugar, a tablespoon of vanilla extract, 10 cups of ice, and then 8 tablespoons of rock salt. And so you add all the ingredients into one Ziploc bag. You close that bag, and then you put it in a bigger bag with the ice and the rock salt, and then you shake it, and then you get your own fresh homemade ice cream. And so if you're looking for that recipe, it's on our website, stldairycouncil.org. We've got that recipe, and we've got tons of other ice cream resources as well.
All right, so it's just so I'm clear, it's a bag inside another bag?
A bag inside of a bag. So you put the milk and the sugar, the vanilla inside of a bag with, if you wanted fruit in there too, inside of a little Ziploc bag, like a sandwich bag. And then you put that little baggie inside of a gallon-sized baggie with ice and rock salt.
Okay, I would love to try that at some point. Maybe insert some other ingredients as well. Make some different kinds of flavors, which I imagine is how those flavors come to be. So that is super cool. You mentioned your website. Remind listeners of that and your social media presences as well.
Absolutely. So our website is stldairycouncil.org. And then our Facebook and Instagram is STL Dairy Council.
All right. So places to find information about the St. Louis District Dairy Council and Ice Cream Month and Ice Cream Day and all the recipes that you heard just now. And oh man, I don't know about you, Meagan, but I'm craving ice cream right now. Indeed. Meagan Modrusic, nutrition educator with the St. Louis District Dairy Council. Meagan, thank you again for coming on.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. We'll be back in 10 minutes or so with another conversation right here for you on WTIM, so please stay tuned.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.5 FM Shelbyville. 107.9 FM Pena Nokomis.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Some strong words for Iran at the